Yo, 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 what's going on? What's going on? What's
What to
going
do?
on? It's
What
your
to do?
brother in the building, man. It seems like I have been here in forever. Just been out on the road, just really, really just grinding and getting it. Let's get you turn my volume all the way up.
Yeah.
Just riding out and getting it. Hope everybody doing well out there,
There
man.
we go.
In the
Hallelujah.
ATL, everything's going well, man. We over here. Happy Shabbat to everybody. Happy
Shabbat
Sabbath
shalom,
day
family.
to everybody. So today, I guess we got a couple things we're gonna chat about. Man, I just Rick Kang in there talk about somebody been running from him and all
You got
this.
to keep running from me.
Yeah.
All this stuff.
We gonna get him, Goldie.
I mean, man, I ain't been here. I done been missed conversating with y'all brothers, man. The Super Bowl done came and went everything. I mean, it's just
there he go.
That's old news. We ain't got to talk about that.
I'm talking about for real, man. You know what I'm saying? And he had a nerve to bring that up today too.
We got some souls that need to be saved. Man. We talk about that foolishness.
all these little Indians fans running around here, man. I hope everybody doing well, but we definitely got to get a chance to talk about some things, man. What's going on? I mean, I haven't even been here. I mean, we talking even the invasion of the establishment has taken place, has gone and went, and I ain't been here. Yeah. I ain't get a chance. I would have loved to initially talk to my brother Rick about this whole thing that went down to D.C. and I wasn't even here, man.
He say he had a round trip ticket.
Man, I know y'all brothers. I know y'all brothers, man. Y'all have some good subject matters.
Oh yeah,
to deal with.
Yes, sir.
Did anybody see the Black Church documentary with Gates on PBS?
Well,
all right.
I saw the introduction. I didn't actually sit down and watch it, but I saw the introduction or the trailer, so to speak.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Send me the link. You sound very highly disappointed.
I mean, Rick, it's one of those things that I think you would appreciate. Just the history. Some things you probably won't appreciate because of the fact, some things were I feel was a little embellished from the aspect of it kind of made and painted a picture. And if anybody's listening that saw the documentary, definitely call in here to the number at 404-355-8699. Some of y'all older saints out there definitely want to hear from y'all if y'all checked it out.
Absolutely.
But the thing is that it kind of made it feel like black people, we didn't have any form of education when we came off the ship. They made it seem like we were all pretty much Catholic and Muslims mixed with different type of spiritual witch doctor type stuff. And it almost felt like they had to help educate us or, that type. So I know, Rick, I see you leaning back a little bit. So it'll kind of make you feel like that when you watch it. So you kind of almost got to have to say, well, let me watch this for, to see what I can chew and swallow and spit out and have a conversation about, if that's the case. But it's just one of those things, man. They had, they talked about how the church have done the LGBT community. They kind of talked about that. And, they kind of highlighted and kind of, pushed that type of thing.
Wait a minute. What do you mean? In a negative sense, a negative connotation, or how
just like they pushed it as though kind of like the church has kind of pushed them out of the church. You know what I'm saying? In some type of way. I mean, you got to watch it to see what I'm talking about. What's up from Chicago? You kind of have to see it to see what I'm saying. They also kind of made it as though the Nation of Islam and those that are part of like Black Power or those that are have any form of Black consciousness or whatever, like it was like the church forced us to and pushed us into consciousness away from the church. It was that type of thing. It was.
Now, ain't some of that true?
I'm just saying.
I'm asking because of the church.
Well, the word will drive you or draw you in that regard, if that's what you're saying.
No, I'm talking about the church.
No, he's talking about the church and the way the church treat. You know what?
And the way the church treat people. Some people that don't agree with their doctrination. Some of these holier than thous.
Yeah, I mean the point. Of course, they had Kurt Franklin in there, and they was talking to him
Lord.
about how the church kind of pushed him out of the church and was saying, because they went from showing the traditionalist church to that contemporary music was more of devil's music. And so it kind of pushed them out. But then in the aspect of talking about did it push us into Islam and things, I think you could probably give the church some blame, but I also think that people in some ways maybe searching, some people that left the church was searching for something more than just the give me your money and that type of thing, because the Nation of Islam focused on brothers who was down, low self-esteem, wasn't working, that type of thing. And we have to give, and I tell people all the time, we have to give Malcolm X some credit, because the Nation of Islam would not be what it is without Brother Malcolm. That's my perspective on that, because he made it popular to what it was.
Have anyone of y'all seen that One Night in Miami?
I haven't seen that yet.
Make it a point to see.
I'm gonna watch that tonight.
I see one Night in Miami. It adds a whole different element and perspective. You know how that was a movie that came out years ago called Vantage Point, and sometimes we build a false narrative, not necessarily false, but we build a narrative in our mind based on the information that we were given. But then when you look at it from a different perspective, it say, oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. And I don't know if it's 100% true, factual, if it's based on hearsay. Okay. If it's more Hollywood, then
the movie, because now the fight is actual,
but I'm talking about the interactions with them, with the four.
There was an interaction because all of them were there
at the same time
in Miami, but how they have it is them being in that room.
Don't lie to me now.
That particular conversation.
But are you lying to me? But are you lying to me about what you have to see because
it's a fictional movie.
Yeah, but according to that,
it's a fictional movie. Now, some of the things that went on in the movie did happen.
That's what I'm saying.
But yes, it's a fictional movie.
They have to a lot of times they have to
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
I understand.
But the one documentary on who killed Malcolm X. Now, did y'all see that documentary? Mm-hmm. Now, that was a powerful documentary.
That's what I'm saying.
And that documentary itself, I think it might have been in that documentary where he talked about basically, it was almost like, I don't want to. I'm just kind of paraphrasing. If I remember it correctly, let me just throw this out. Y'all may remember this, Rick. Malcolm was kind of the catalyst to bringing Muhammad Ali into the nation.
That's
right?
in all the movie, even in Muhammad Ali's movie,
right?
Which Will Smith played in. It's still pushing that narrative, even in One Night in Miami, still pushing that narrative.
Yes, and
okay.
I mean, yeah. That is from everything I've read and seen. That is true.
Okay.
Malcolm was very instrumental in bringing Muhammad into the nation.
Right, and see, they also had on that movie on the Black Church documentary, when they came to dealing with the consciousness part of it, they showed Israelites.
Okay.
They showed them, but they didn't talk about us. You see what I'm saying? So they just kind of show images and pictures of this is what the church has done to force black people into revolutionaries. Mm-hmm. They showed some of the revolutionaries, Stokely Carmichael, different people like that, as well as they showed Israelites. They showed the movie that just came out, Judas and
the Black Messiah.
What was I forgot his name? The brother, man, it just slipped my tongue.
Brother?
Yeah, the Black Panther brother. He was 21 years old, I think, when he died. But they showed kind of like him, that whole movement, and they were just kind of talking about like the Nation of Islam, and they focused on the Nation of Islam in particular, because it seems to me that throughout this documentary, the narrative of Islam was being pushed.
Okay.
It seems as though the narrative was that the white man Christianized black people and saved us out of Islam. That's just the way it looked to me. That's just my perspective of looking at it. Anybody want to call in 404-355-8699 to discuss that?
Huey Newton.
Huey Newton.
No, not Huey Newton. Not Huey Newton. The young one.
Huey Newton was in jail. He was locked up at the time, according to the movie.
Yeah. Huey had an influence, but it was the young brother, man.
Was it Nate?
I forgot his name.
And they got the Dollar Tree Wi-Fi up in here, man. I can't do that.
I mean, you talking about Judas, the Judas character?
Not the Judas character.
No, the one he was
the other guy.
The one.
Huey P. Newton is the one that.
Huey P. Newton was the one that was on in the
He was from Chicago.
Right, but
highly educated. He ended up.
Huey was light skinned.
Huey was light skinned.
No, not Huey. The brother in that movie, who the movie was focused on, who got killed. The young brother. He was dark skinned. Who the guy played?
He played in Get Out.
Get Out. Who he played?
The character he played.
He played
Fred Hampton.
Fred Hampton. That's who it was. I couldn't think of the name. I'm like, man, what? But yeah, it was more so kind of dealing with that and just kind of some aspects of just showing, and my thing is this, man, people aren't uneducated based upon white standards.
All right.
And what I mean is that if you come get a people from a place where they have their own culture, they're civilized within their culture, they speak a language and dialect within their own culture, and you bring them to a foreign atmosphere, and you're trying to communicate with them and trying to get them to do certain things that they aren't accustomed to, or they cannot understand you. They have to relearn all over again a new culture, a new system. So to call them illiterate is offensive to me.
Right.
Because that was according to your standard.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I was free, had my own way of thinking, my own way of behavior, my own society before you even came and got me.
Right. It's like saying a country isn't free because they don't do things like America. Like in the so-called Middle East, to them, that's normal for a woman to have a body fully covered, to walk behind her husband, not talk unless her husband gives her permission. That is a culture that they have. That's
she
what
can tell you what kind of shoes he had on.
Right. So to sit up there and say, "Oh, that's bad culture. That's illiterate," because of white standards, because of what they're doing, you can't base that. So my thing is, everybody's basing education upon white standards, and that's the thing. It's like homeschooling. My son have learned more being homeschooled within the culture of my house than he was learning in the white school system. But I'm just speaking fact. Now that's in my house.
But he's gonna have to test amongst the system.
But see, then that's a whole nother biased system, though.
So we know the system is biased. That's
you see what I'm saying?
So how are you going to make sure that he's prepared for this test? Because he's still gonna have to test amongst the system.
Right, absolutely. Well, I mean, with that is you can.
And let me state this: I agree with you 1,000%. But for doing that, for schooling him that way. Yeah.
No, I mean the thing is that we're part of this system, so you have to go by, because the homeschool system has a standard and a culture in itself. So you have to abide by those guidelines, but at the same time, it still gives me enough freedom, me and my wife enough freedom to educate him and spend the time with him. When in this system, it's like, okay, you got to get it in this amount of time. You got to get it this, and this is time. I got 30 other kids. You got to.
Right. So you might not get that one-on-one.
That one-on-one, and be able to educate him with our own culture. You see what I'm saying? Learn things like that. Because when we look at it, being at home, it seems as though when mama was at home, when our parents was growing up, she was able to still instill in the kids value education, and these type of things. Now you get into this system where everybody trying to get it together. It's like a dog-eat-dog world. They forget your child.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's all I was saying before about the Black Church documentary. I just think that what it did show, what the positive thing, it showed that we have always been a spiritual people, a worshiping people. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I don't like the look as though, like, okay, they had to save us, or they created something and we took it and made it our own and elevated, as though like we never created anything. It's like, yo, look at Africa before they came over there and raped and pillaged it. We built all kind of stuff.
That's right.
So to say that we aren't educated, to me, it's just a slap of face. And none of my preacher friends as Christians, they didn't like it.
The High Museum is full of things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's right. Cut you off, but the High Museum is full of things that we had and was doing over there, and they stole it and put it in their museum as if
they don't know.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Right.
And I know you was mentioning like how can the child test within this system if they're being homeschooled. But the truth of the matter is most of the students who homeschool, they able to take those tests and exceed way far greater than the children that's actually in the system. So he's not saying that he's not able to learn the things within what's going on in their test. It's that they're able to learn more. So he might be in the third grade, but actually he's on the fifth grade level because of the attention that you're able to give to him and pay close attention to him and give him more time and pay more attention to where he may be failing as to where the teacher would not.
Yeah, I think it was I was watching something, I think it might have been Norway or somewhere. They like lead the world in education, and they only have
over China. I thought China that. Was it China or Japan?
China.
They're like number one in grade point average and everything, because they only give their kids schoolwork 4 hours a day.
Right.
So if out of an 8-hour school period, they work 4 times. It's for academics, 4 hours of socialization, and 0 homework. Because their mindset, they even had Americans come over there to check out the school system. It was blown away, because what happens is now the kid brain is able to process.
It'd be an overload.
It's be overload. And they tried to bring it back. America's like, oh, heck no.
And they gave us like block scheduling program where you in these classes for hours at a time, and plus you got to get it in a shorter period of time. Yeah, and so you're like, basically it's like a big cram session.
A big cram session.
Yeah, you can't even maintain this information. And like, how do you expect kids to maintain this information and use it in a worldly setting when you're just throwing it in their mind? Like, you're not gonna hold on to half of that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of what they're doing in the classroom now, they're just teaching them to take the test.
Yeah,
the test.
They're not learning to educate themselves.
Right.
They're learning. They're because unfortunately, a lot of these teachers are judged by the failing of the test.
Yeah. No.
So a lot of this stuff is preparing these kids to take a test.
No, let me ask you all a question.
Yeah, so you're not really learning the reading, the math, the arithmetic, like was emphasized with us back in the day. Now you just trying to make a test. So
meet that quota.
Meet the quota.
Now let me ask you all a question. I'm a 70s baby. It seems as if when I was growing up, even in the
60s, baby.
I was born in 71, grade 71.
I thought you were born in 65.
Don't let the beard fool you. No, but listen here. Think back. Most of my teachers that I can remember were older adults.
Yeah, that's right. They were.
As opposed to the last 20, 30 years, the teachers being 22, 23, 24, 5 years old.
Right, and you know why that is before you go forward? Because they can pay them teachers coming straight out of college less than those ones who are more experienced, and they didn't want to pay them, so they pushed them out and bring in the teachers that's less experienced, and that's why you got more teachers in the system that don't have the amount of experience as the older teachers who would be able to give those children more information.
And see, teachers then could not only teach me the curriculum based on the syllabus, but they can help guide me in life experience.
Right, life experience, because they got more experience.
They got more experience.
And them teachers, my kindergarten teacher,
she was about 100 years old.
She was already in her late 40s.
That's what I'm saying. They were older.
And so now you got a kid in high school. The science teacher 25, he's 17.
Right.
And you wonder why
they sleeping with the students.
Man, I'm trying to tell you.
That's crazy, man.
I used to love my math teacher.
We ain't gonna act like it wasn't no sleeping with the students going on.
Man.
But we didn't see it. You didn't see it.
You knew it.
Yeah.
But no, not necessarily.
I did. How did I know it and you didn't know it?
Because you're a heathen.
Oh, okay. I'll be there.
I knew.
No, let me ask you a question though. Going back to the black church. When you're talking about, they were saying that it pushed some of us out. Did they shed any light on the white church?
Nope. It's coming out now, though.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's coming out now.
So I'm saying. So how did all of a sudden they pull black church out of the church period to separate it and then say y'all ran from the black church?
Because the white church in the documentary are the ones who helped save us.
Right.
As far as...
But Yeshua is a man of color.
Look, man, I'm just telling you what the documentary said. They ain't showing no... They had one black Jesus in that documentary.
Oh, he was on Good Time.
And they were quick. Yeah, it was. No, you're right.
It was that one on Good Time.
Yeah, it was the one on Good Time.
And Ned DeWino.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was the only one.
But
and guess what? They said because of us, because of the conscious folks, we were the ones that started painting the black Jesus.
Well, how did he get painted white in the beginning?
I'm just telling you what they showed in the documentary. They blamed us for black Jesus.
Did they go and get any information out of the catacombs? Did they go get any information from Russia? Because Russia got a lot of our information hidden over there too.
About that.
Oh, see, there you go. So it was an agenda. It was a narrative that was being pushed.
That's obviously what was going on.
Who did the documentary?
Well,
PBS.
And
John Legend.
Well, we know who owned PBS.
John Legend.
We know who owned John Legend.
And Oprah gave the name of it.
We know who owned Oprah. We know who owned Oprah.
Oprah named what?
The documentary.
Oh, God.
I mean,
yeah, it's a wrap.
Come on.
Wow.
She believed in many ways, so.
Oprah named it.
Wow.
The director. But see, the thing is with Gates, the host, he's a Harvard guy, I think Professor Harvard. But even in his little series of
he's a Gates
tracing your heritage.
The thing is with me that I had the issue that I have with him, he know more than what he put out there. And see, he can't put it out there like that because
he can't tell the truth and stay safe.
Who own PBS.
He's part of the PBS.
Well, then they say if you're not a part of the solution,
some say he boule.
Well, he got a platform.
Let me ask you this, Moray. Because my understanding of how you teach and preach is through historical fact. Going back into history and trying to bring the history to today to bring it all together. Where would you have, if you was a part of this, started some of this conversation? And so what is some of the stuff that you would have, I'm talking about right off back, said, hell nah, we can't do this.
I mean, well, first of all, from the initial of trying to, there was a church in another part of Georgia that was called First Baptist. I mean, First African Baptist. It was a smaller church, and then there was the one in Savannah.
Okay.
And when I watched the documentary, it seems as though they was trying to tie them together as a transition. And in that, they had a sister who was from Rutgers University. I don't think she's a professor because they didn't have professor next to her name. She probably was just a student. But she said that she had she was descendants of slaves who, I guess, practiced Islam or whatever, right? And so they transitioned from that on to the church in Savannah. Now, the correlation between the two, to me, I would have been like, well, you can't tie these together. You have to at least let the people know that these are two separate churches. The people who built the church in Savannah aren't the people that's a part of her family.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
So they trying to actually tie it in and they push the narrative that they were basically Arabic.
Basically, you know what I'm saying? And so that's one of the things. Two is that I want to know, and I put up a post on Facebook like, yo, and I'm asking these Baptists and Pentecostal preachers,
listen,
like,
preachers,
who invented the hoop and the tune? Because it seemed to me, listen, man, it's rare. I can't even think of, when the last time have you seen a white preacher preach black? It's rare. So I was asking that question because it seems as though they was trying to make it seem as though there was a white guy who started tuning and hooping.
They taking everything,
like black,
yeah.
I'm just telling you what and I put a post up on Facebook about it. And the thing is that I'm asking the people, I'm like, okay, if y'all saying that a black man is the one who started this, then why is it that nobody's saying nothing about you watching this documentary? And the thing is, I don't like people to spin the history of something or exploit the people. So the first thing is, I would say, heck no. How you gonna paint? Because black people, we weren't just one. We weren't in one type of religion.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? As black, even in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's right.
We've
been following false gods ever since we come out of Israel.
Yeah, since
come out of Egypt.
Yeah, but I'm talking about period, black people, period, across the board.
All right.
I'm not just talking about Israelites. I'm saying black people, period,
Hamites,
across the board. We have not, as black people, either if you from Ham or Shem, we have never been a type of people that only been stuck to one type of religion.
Okay.
We've always been a type of people that had some form of spirituality.
But we've always been spiritual.
We've always been at some particular level.
Right.
But to make it seem as though all the slaves that came off the ship was mostly just Arabs or followed Islam.
Right, or majority
doctrine,
Arab.
Majority. When you look at it, especially like you got the Geechee people, you know what I'm saying, the Gullah people, you have them, and you start looking at a small percentage of people that came on the ships. Now, am I going to sit up here and say everybody that came off the ship was an Israelite that came on the ship? No, I'm not going to say that.
Not.
No,
that's right.
It was some people that did practice Islam. But to paint the picture as though what is, so to answer Rick's question, my whole thing is this, man. We have to the media in this country, because it's mostly in America.
All right.
America has a wall around it, a dome over the top of it, and people not getting out. Only thing they do is they read what somebody else is saying, and we spend money and invest money in a lot of different things when many of us could invest money into going overseas to see what's really going on. Matter of fact, you ain't even got to fly. You can stop being friends with your partner in the hood. Start being friends with people overseas. Talk to them, find out what's going on. They'll tell you a lot of things, man.
Isn't that one of the things that changed Malcolm X's perspective on the nation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because what? They told him only black people.
He walked around saying all white folks are blue-eyed devils.
When
but
he
then
went to
Mecca, he saw them white folks worshiping just, hey, wait a minute. This is something totally different.
That's what I'm saying. So my thing is, man, is that we have to look at things and it have to start with, we can't just get along to go along. And, you know, this is a big deal and everybody want to be a part of it. And then another thing, too, when these documentaries, you got to be very careful because you got to be careful what you say.
All right.
Because they will edit out stuff and put in stuff.
What they want.
To spin it, to make it sound like you said one thing.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful, man, with dealing with these big productions like that, man.
Ooh. Now, look, you can run right down here to the Civil Rights Museum and see that manifesto of them slave ships, and you can look at some of those names of the individuals that came off them ships, and you see they had Yah in their name, Benaniah Yah and Sakai Ra and L's in their name.
Absolutely. But I mean, you know, it's just that, you know, back to the initial point, I know Rick was asking, have the church done so? Yeah. I mean, we can look at it. I mean, we can look at across the board, and say, well, okay, every religion, but the conversation is dealing with this particular documentary and the Christian church. Has the Christian church. So guess what? They're saying, my thing is, I don't want to blame somebody. I want to blame everything on the church, right? I don't want to blame everything on the church. Right. But there has been a lot of things for different people for different reasons. Right. They showed Jeremiah Wright, who Obama, and they showed how he was riding with Jeremiah Wright, and when the politics got involved, then he threw Jeremiah to the side. Now they showed that on there. So I'm like, yo.
So you throwing shade on Obama now? I mean, after the fact,
Right.
But I'm just saying after the fact.
One stone.
PBS threw stones on them, not us.
Wow.
They killed 2 birds with 1 stone. You take out Obama, and you show how he went against the man who married him and his wife, and the one who helped him in politics.
He's spiritual advisor at one point.
At one point, threw him under the bus. I'm just saying it's a dirty game. So they killed 2 birds with 1 stone. You know what I'm saying? So the thing was, they showed, Al Sharpton up there. They talked to him. They talked to Cornel West. Of course, Oprah was in there. They would just talk about a lot of things, Y'all check it out, man. I'm going to send y'all a link. You go on YouTube and look at his 2 parts on YouTube. Go to YouTube and type in the Black Church PBS, and you can see part 1 and part 2. But
that'll be some of my
coffee. Please make sure you share that link, though.
Yeah, I'll drop it. I'll send it to you. Yeah, but I mean, it's a lot of things that are very interesting. And so they were showing how the start of, they were showing LGBT churches. They gave them a lot of spin.
In the positive light, or they gave them cameos?
I mean, they gave it positive. They gave
I'm just saying.
Positive stuff. They showed the dude, Sylvester or whatever his name, that song back in the day. You make me feel mighty real, something like
that. Black dude, big black guy.
Huh?
Was it a big black guy?
Yeah.
Sylvester.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Sylvester.
His name was Sylvester.
I'm just saying, Sylvester.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you know.
I guarantee you listen to it.
You make me what?
I guarantee. I don't know the name. I can't remember the name.
Man, this is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they was talking about how he was, I guess, a singer in the Kojic church. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so he ended up, he said it was a statement. He said that, well, the lady who she was a big name, big singer in the Pentecostal church, and she ended up starting her own church. LGBT, so she left the church because she said that, they wasn't embracing, her lifestyle or whatever. So God told her to start a church, whatever.
Hold on.
I ain't got but one question.
We got to unpack this.
How do you deny him? I mean, do you deny? And do you deny him?
No, it's not a fact of denying them. It's this fact of saying that this is not the right way to live.
For when they
it's
do
one,
God.
It's one thing of denying someone and not agreeing with their lifestyle. Uh-huh. That's 2 different things.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So then my question is, can you not agree with their lifestyle?
Nope.
But let them live?
Nope.
I mean, but here's the thing, though, Rick. It's the thing is,
according to the Bible that I read is wrong. Yeah, I get that.
Right.
But at the same time, yes, it's wrong, but we all are of sin.
Right. I get what you're saying.
How do you deny them if they want to come to your church, be a part of your church? That's I guess that's my only question.
That's the thing about it is they really. Most of them, they're not gonna want to. If you're teaching the Bible and you're teaching the thing, whether it be lying, stealing, or homosexuality, whatever topic it may be, if you're talking about these things, they're not gonna want to come because it's convicting them. So it ain't that they can't come, but you're gonna hear when you get to talking about the word, you're gonna hear that you need to turn away from these things. Well, now you're gonna have to make a choice whether you want to leave or stay.
I done been in church and the pastor was talking about womanizing.
Mm-hmm. Well, Eddie Long was doing the same. Yeah, he was doing the same thing
in the church, but he was steady denouncing and speaking against it. And I know half the fellas with me were womanizers, We were part of the womanizing clique. So I mean,
they'll even pull out a scripture to justify their womanizing.
But then you can also find scriptures and hieroglyphics of homosexuality.
That's hieroglyphics. What that got to do with the book?
No, he's talking about in scripture too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So.
Well, see, here's the issue. I think the issue is that it's a difference if somebody comes to your church and they're saying, okay, this is my lifestyle, right? Then there's a conversation that has to be had. Well, this is what we believe doctrinally. And if that person agrees to the doctrine that's established there, the issue comes is, now what happens is those who live that lifestyle oftentimes end up trying to change the doctrine of the church
to fit them.
You see what I'm saying? And then they bring an indictment, well, since you won't change, you don't love me.
Yeah.
Right, now, exactly.
I mean, that's the same thing, because if you agree to the doctrine, it's like agreeing to a contract on your car. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you're obligated to pay this. So you're obligated to accept. Nobody's forcing you to be a member here. Nobody's saying that you got to.
That's right.
But at the same time, this is what we do. This is what we're not for. Now, that don't mean we don't love you. And that don't mean we're saying, hey, get up out of here. That's not what it is. It's just that if we can't allow you to come in and be all with your arm around, your same, and all that type of stuff. Because what happens is that causes conflict in the church amongst the people who not with that. And doctrinally, that's not what you agreed to.
Right.
Now, see, what I believe what happens too is because there are so many church doctrines and so many churches, what's that word? Bylaws, instead of that being one doctrine for the body. So if I don't agree with what's going on over at this church, I can pull out what I want, take out what I don't, and go start my own. Right. Soon as I start my own, 2 years later, somebody else is not going to agree with me, and they're going to say, well, I'm going to take the stuff that I agree with and pull out the stuff that I don't agree with and go start my own.
That's why you got all the different denominations.
So now there's so many different. That's what I'm saying. That's the point. There are so many different standards where we're no longer looking at Christ's standard. We're looking at the standard of this particular church
or person that started it. Yeah,
exactly. So that's what the problem. We was talking about this earlier.
Yeah,
I have a sister. My own biological sister she goes that other way. My sister can't come to my house and sit down on one of my sofas with her girlfriend or wife and be booed up in my house.
Right. I
love you, but you can't come and do that in my house.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So
that's your house. You make the rules and regulations in your house.
Because what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong, and not judging anybody. But if we call ourselves to be believers, if we call ourselves to be Christians, children of God, that we follow the book, whether it's King James, NIV, CFA, whatever, then there's a standard that has to be set. And that standard is holiness and righteous living.
Well, it's like if you got a cousin and your cousin is a known thief.
Exactly.
He can't come to my house.
He can't come to my house.
You ain't let him in your house.
He can't come to my house because it's
and
a
if you do, you're going to be hiding stuff.
That's what I'm saying. It's a possibility something go walk.
I'll meet you on the porch.
That's what I'm saying. It's a certain. My whole thing is that this is not even something that's in America. I think America is really soft with this. I think America is really soft with this. In other countries, if you turn around and they find out that that's going on,
they kill you.
They coming in your house. They having public floggings.
They burning folks. You ain't seen them videos in Africa? Boy, they putting ties around folks and setting them on fire.
And that's ancient. That's not just that's
the Bible says that you can stone them.
Okay. But we're not gonna act like that's not where it comes from, though.
No, Leroy. That ain't our behavior. I'm sorry, Leroy. I'm sorry, Leroy. I can't go with that one. That comes from other folks. Certain things we just didn't do.
In Egypt, Egypt they was doing that.
Yeah, but Egypt was still.
That's where it comes from. It's a difference between you saying that's where you see it at, and that's what's acceptable. It's like you see it in there, but that doesn't make it acceptable. That's what I'm trying to say.
But it's there.
It's there. Yeah.
And it came from there.
Yeah. I know. So what is the conclusion of what you're saying? Is you saying that it's okay just because it's there?
I'm not saying
it's not okay because
it's not okay because that's not what I do.
Okay.
It's not okay because that's not what I practice. It's not okay because that's not what I believe in.
Right.
Is it right or wrong?
I don't damn know.
Okay, I know. Watch this. Watch this.
That's a great question.
Okay. Now watch it. Let's walk this right quick. Then let's walk it right quick. God created man to be a seed sower, right? Yes or no? We sow seeds.
Yeah, you have children. That's a seed.
Exactly. So we sow seeds. God provided a place to sow that seed, so that seed to be carried in the womb, right? In the woman's womb.
Right. Even when you plant the seed in the ground.
Yeah, your posterior, your butt, is a waste. It expels.
Right. Stuff that's not.
So you're walking around trying to give life or put life in a dead situation.
No,
Rick.
No, he's not.
Whether it's a woman or a man. Whether it be a man with a woman or a man with a man, you trying to put life into a dead situation, because only thing that comes out of here is waste and decay. That's not where life comes. That's where death comes in.
Every time you have sex, you're not trying to make life.
You're missing the point. But you wouldn't go in somebody's back door, because that's not where life is. That's an exit. That's for death and decay.
Every time you have sex, you're not trying to make life.
The point is, it's a right way to do things and it's a wrong way to do things.
And if we want to talk about it, there are women that like.
We ain't talking about whether just because you like it, it don't make it right or wrong. We're talking about what's right and what's wrong.
Who said that was wrong?
The word?
Oh, the word said it's wrong.
So the word said
the creator of heaven and earth said it's wrong.
He said that if I'm
man should not.
She likes that, and
it said man should not lie with women and mankind.
Hold on. I think Rick, you talking about a woman, right?
I'm asking you.
You talking about a man and a woman?
I'm talking about a man and a woman.
Okay, now you talking about a man and a woman.
Okay,
if she likes this,
well, you in your flesh. You freaky deaky. Okay, I'm just saying. Because God, God's initial purpose for intercourse with a man and a woman is to have companionship and to reprocreate.
Right.
You cannot reprocreate going in the back door, Rick. That's wrong.
But every time
that's different.
Procreation, we ain't doing it.
Every time. When I used to smoke, every time I smoked the blunt, it was good.
Look, every time you don't have sex in your life, you wouldn't having sex to have a baby.
Look, let me say this too. Let me say this.
This is what you get here on WHT.
Boom Radio.
Boom Radio.
So listen, check this out. So let's look at it. I mean, even scientifically, I'm just gonna go with just a little brief thing. Scientifically, your body is not designed. You know, and this is. I even hate to say man, oh man. Y'all get the point, okay? Your body is not designed for that area you're in to receive, okay? Now that's scientific.
That's scientific.
Right? That's why a lot of people end up having like cancers and all that. But anyway, now let's deal with man and a woman. To Rick's point, you got a point too, but to Rick's point, every time you have intercourse, you're not trying to procreate, right? So that is wrong, right? But let me say this too about the Bible. You do know that every time you spill on the ground,
that's against the book.
The book say that you are not supposed to copulate outside of a woman.
Outside of a woman, exactly.
But we copulate outside.
That was for a specific reason, though, right? That was for a specific person now.
Right.
He was talking to a specific person for a specific reason because he wanted him to do something that he didn't want to do, right? That wasn't law. That wasn't in the 614. I'm just saying. Let's keep it in context.
Now, do that make it right or wrong for us to do? Is just because we don't do it, does that make it right or wrong?
I'm just saying that what Rick said. Rick said who said it wrong.
You see how he puts that thing up?
I'm just saying.
Rick said who said it wrong.
Yeah,
he's talking about a man and a woman because you brought up the woman like that.
This is what we get when we don't stick to what's written, when we don't stick with the standards of, I'm just saying, I'm making a point.
So
when we don't stick with the standards of the Bible, everybody comes up with their own little catch-22s and creates little nuances where we can wiggle through.
But Rick asking, where does it say if it's wrong for a man to do that to a woman? That's what he asking. look at
I say that it's unnatural affection.
I'm not saying it's inordinate affections.
Yeah, inordinate.
And evil consequences.
It's not the natural way of doing it.
Rick asked, where is that in the law?
Let me ask you something. You won't see two birds. You won't see no chicken on top of no alligator. You ain't gonna see no turtle dog trying to run up on no pit bull with it. Because it's unnatural. Come on, man. Because when they knew God, they glorified Him not as God, became vain in their own imaginations, and their foolish hearts were darkened. And God gave them over to work them things that which uncomely in themselves. Read Romans the 1st chapter, man. Come on, man. I'm just saying.
Boy,
we got to stop trying to look for loopholes. You know what I'm saying? We got to stop lying for loopholes.
This is
Not saying that you, but I'm saying we as believers, children of God, we have to not look for loopholes in how to not do something and look for more ways of how I can walk righteously. Something has to be wrong with my mind, or I would question my relationship or my salvation if I'm trying to figure out how I can have sex with a woman in the rear end because it pleases me and her. It's pleasing to the flesh and it's not glorifying God in the situation.
Don't open up a door for Rick.
I'm trying to close the door. I'm really trying to. Matter of fact, you trying to go up in the closed door. You trying to. That's a waste.
Rick done brought the barbershop to Boom.
We can continue this conversation Friday night.
What time?
8:30 to 10. We're talking random issues.
Oh, man.
Barbershop style conversation. So you mean to tell me? And this is an ignorant question.
Hold on, viewers. Wait a minute, man. If you got children in the car,
go ahead and move them out the room right now.
Like the heathen and stuff.
For you holy rollers, you may want to turn the dial.
If even the holy rollers know this,
okay.
Why did He make it so good, so pleasurable?
Because He's
tried these different things.
No. That's your flesh talking.
Yeah,
that's your flesh. So we just straight missionary in this room.
No,
that's hold on.
I told y'all not to open it up.
Hold on. Marriage is honorable. Marriage is honorable. Marriage is honorable and undefiled.
Let it go.
With your wife.
You keep opening the door to Rick. Next he gonna be talking about
the man in the spot. ABCD.
Maybe it's good to you because you got introduced to something that you're not supposed to be introduced to. We came up in a country that's been introduced to us that we never supposed to partake in the first place. That's just like in a garden.
How did we switch from the black church?
Because that's what happened in the black.
That's what happened.
Because they don't talk about stuff like this in the church.
So,
exactly.
Listen, so
there's no education.
But see that's the thing. Like he said everybody's straight missionary in here, right?
Man, you know how many.
I ain't no man right now. I ain't got no wife, so I ain't no.
So you are withstanding from sexual.
He's celibate.
Absolutely.
And he'll sell a little bit.
So you selling a little bit.
selling a bit.
Or you selling a bit. So you are withstanding from sex.
Yes.
How long, Matt? I'm just asking. How long have you been?
Man, it's been over 3 years? 3 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, since I've came into a greater knowledge of the word. Yeah.
Now that don't mean I ain't desiring a woman.
But no,
absolutely don't mean that. I'm looking right now.
So Rick is basically trying to say, so if you're not straight missionary, any other styles is unnatural. And then if that's the case, then that open up the door for other things.
We got to say this for another show.
Is your
Friday night. We better do this on Friday night. We might do this. This may be
Hey,
one of them.
them is
They gonna
heathen ways.
think we
Them are the
straight
ways of
carnal,
the heathen.
man. Y'all.
Listen here. I'm gonna say this like this. You can take it how you want it. Later on this evening, I ain't gonna be playing no Luther Barnes with my wife. I ain't gonna be playing no Shirley Caesar or no Isaac Carey. I'm gonna be playing some boo doom 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 doom.
Well, that's unnatural.
What you mean unnatural?
That's
Man,
unnatural.
you better read Psalms of Solomon.
You playing a song to get you in the mood, man.
That's right. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Get
Wait a
in the
minute.
mood just without the music.
Ain't you playing Luther?
That's right.
That was a Luther song, right?
But a tale, not a how.
Ain't Luther.
Ain't Luther?
No, that was Big Luther.
Ain't Luther?
That was Big Luther. That was Big Luther.
Ain't Luther?
I don't know. That
Man,
was Big
you done
Luther.
open up the door
That
for
was Big
Rick
Luther.
again, man. Hey, look, man. Rick got you today, dog.
No, he did.
Rick killed
No, he
you
did.
today.
No, he
Yeah,
did. No, he
Rick got you
did. No, he
today.
did. No, he didn't. Hey, shake it off.
I welcome my brothers to Friday nights, 8:30 to 10 on
You know what?
Random Issues.
You know what? I might just have to stop by the barber shop. I need to line up anyway. I'm gonna have to
Hey,
stop
boy,
by
I
here
don't
Friday.
know, boy. You got to be careful, boy.
No,
Rick, hey, them
Man,
blades
we can set
sharp.
you up, right?
Them blades sharp at Rick barbershop, boy. They don't use, hey, boy. They use that extra 100% alcohol.
But in all sincerity, let's just say this here for real talk, because we do have people out here that really listen. Not that nobody's saying that nobody's not listening.
Yeah.
We should always want to do things in decency and in order and in a way that is pleasing to the Lord.
Pleasing to God. Yes.
So if you have some convictions or some things that you may do that your conscience don't agree with, then don't do them, because the Bible says that's sin to you. You know what I'm saying? Now there are things that we participated in the world that I wouldn't participate in. You understand? Because my conscience won't allow me to bring that type of behavior.
Right.
Even if it's with my wife. You understand? Mm-hmm. Because there are some things technically that are still on the law books that are against the law. And the Bible tells me that I'm supposed to be obedient not only to the word, but to the laws. So even if I am with my wife and she likes it and it's pleasing to the both of us, the books say it's against the law.
But ain't that against you?
It's against the law.
But ain't that against your law?
It would be.
Okay,
not my law, but his law.
But see, the only reason I'm asking that because of the statement you just made right there, when you saying your conscience.
Yeah.
But if it's pleasing to you and your wife, and it's something that y'all enjoy, you not doing it seems like it's a conflict of interest.
Rick,
of
let me ask you a question.
Just asking.
Would you and your wife go to a strip club?
Hell yes, we did.
Rick said his bedroom under. Rick said his bedroom under.
Would you and your wife ride down there and go down there to New Orleans and get in one of them orgy fests?
Yeah, that's a long thing.
No. But
why not?
We would not. Because I know.
It wouldn't please her?
No, it would please her then.
Okay.
But the after effect.
So basically, there's a spiritual element to that.
Okay. But you asked me when we go to the strip club. Yes, we went to a strip club.
But you talking about the setup question. That's a setup question.
The strip club, we had a great time.
Did y'all
but
take a man home?
You don't never feel that.
Hey, man.
Did y'all take a man home?
Making your wife entertain thoughts that that's not supposed to be natural, or that'll send her against you and get to searching out women more than you.
She asked me to go.
I didn't.
Rick,
did y'all take home another man?
I'll leave that
Rick
alone.
said y'all not gonna bring him under the curse.
Would y'all take home another man?
It's free.
No, we would not.
Why not?
Because I would not.
But it ain't about you.
I would not.
It ain't about you. What if your wife said, Rick, I want to take another man home and bring him into bed with us?
Right.
No, we're not.
No.
That's a double standard.
Double standard,
That's
Rick.
a double standard, Rick.
And guess what?
The Bible says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Now,
if my wife tell me, Rick, we can't have another woman, then okay, baby, that's cool.
but she said, I really want this man.
Well, if she really want that man, she might need to go out there and be that.
But if she want to bring another woman in, you'll be okay with it.
Hey,
Did she want to bring the woman in?
Yeah.
Did she want to bring the woman
Yeah.
in? Then that's another conversation. We can have
look,
that.
Rick say, y'all are not gonna bring him back under
I
the
know. I
curse of the
see,
law.
man.
Listen, man,
And
ain't nobody over here spouting out your liberties, Rick.
Y'all are not gonna spot out his liberties, his freedom in Christ.
Listen, man, whatever you do, make sure you do it wholeheartedly as pleasing the Lord. Whatever you do.
Man, y'all in rare form today, man.
But see,
man.
but all this to say, how do you as Moray have these conversations in your congregation? Because that has been one of the biggest problems in the black church, in the black
that's
community.
True. That's true.
They run for these conversations.
That's true. That's
They
true.
won't talk about it.
And that's why some of these kids are growing up how they are growing up.
Come on,
That's
Doc.
true.
Because they won't have these conversations.
But they have them on
absolutely
internet. They have them on Facebook.
Right.
They have them
Because it's right there.
on TikTok.
Yeah.
It's right there.
It's best for the church to have it than outside influences.
But it was considered taboo in the 20s and the 30s. It was considered taboo.
And not only that, most
In the
people they was
60s and the
participating
70s
in.
and
They was
80s.
participating in it, so they not gonna talk about what they're participating in.
Yeah.
Amen.
All right.
Yeah. It's
Amen.
Yeah, whether they want
Yeah.
people to know about it or not, they not gonna talk about it, man.
Yeah, it's better for the. I'm with Rick on that. I mean, I think the Most High that Boom is a ministry that we can have those type of conversations, and keep it G-rated the way we keeping it, But at the same time, keep it real. Have those discussions because those are things like I say, man. I mean, it's something for years that they ran from. They ain't want to talk about.
You know how many single men are struggling with pornography
Man,
and masturbation?
I just posted a video the other day.
In churches now, even in Israel.
Yeah,
Because they won't have conversations. How many sisters are struggling with lust because they don't have conversations?
And not only that, it's to a point where even if they know they can't be with somebody physically, they don't know that even the thoughts of your mind, just that alone, your mind is a form of fornication.
But that also causes them to go out here and just get married out of the will.
Out of the wheel.
Out of the
just
wheel,
so I
right.
can.
Right. So then they take Paul verse totally out of context and would get married but then you just getting married and then you don't even like the person. You just marrying them for sex purposes.
Yeah,
that's
right.
not exactly the fullness of what he was saying.
No, and that ain't gonna work.
Right.
Well, y'all, we at our hour. We're gonna get ready to get up out of here, man. We thank y'all for tuning in, everybody online and that are listening on the radio. Definitely hit us up, man, at BOOMCHURCH int@gmail.com. If you want to come hang out and fellowship with us, if you also want to just, come hang out with us at the station one day, just shoot us an email and we go from there. So also look us up on YouTube at BOOMCHURCH.
Amen.
All right, everybody, y'all brothers, get out your information so we can get up out of here.
I'm good. Rick, go ahead, brother. I can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Please join us in the barbershop Friday nights, 8:30 to 10, talking random-ish.
Do want to shout out Moray Derek Siler, looking for him on Facebook, Kingdom Anointed Custom Neckwear and neck pieces they customized to fit you. I see he got.
Oh, Rick got one?
Yeah. But you got Balboa on over there.
Yeah, Balboa.
Hey, shout out to the young king. God, good. No, I just missed his name. Read so well today too. Zion.
Keenan.
Zion.
Zion.
He named this for me here. This is T-Rex.
T-Rex.
It's a T-Rex. He said this a
that
real.
tooth?
Yeah, he said this T-Rex right here. So he give him a name.
Definitely hit us up, man. If y'all want to fellowship with us at the Passover 2020, it's March 26th through the 27th. Hit us up on the Gmail or hit us up on the website, BOOMCHURCHINT.com. All right? Thank y'all, man.
Till the next
All
time
right.
we see you. Shabbat shalom.
Here comes that. Yeah.